Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Art House. Beep, 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 beep. So I got a quick update here. It's been a while since we did a recorded video. I say that every time. I like to do the lives. And on that point, I wanted to announce that next weekend, which is going to be Saturday, November 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have a big celebration for the release of beta. We're going to have a box opening. I'm hoping I'll have my beta boxes here in time. Worst case scenario, if it's not here, we're going to open up a box of alpha because I had to schedule ahead. We're going to have a lot of special guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you remember the alpha opening, which was back in, it was about 6-7 months ago. We had, I want to say, 14 of the alpha artists, which is almost half of the artists that are in the alpha that contributed artwork for alpha. We had Simon from the company. We had Eric Olafson, the game creator, co-creator with Nick Reynolds. And we're going to see a lot of the same people as last time, and we're going to have some special new guests, new faces that you didn't see last time. So it's a great privilege to introduce the artists to the passionate sorcery community and see them for a brief cameo as we open some packs. So it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be live again Saturday noon on November 11th, 2023, with the release of beta. Beta releases on November 10th, Friday. Saturday, we're going to have the big event. It's going to be live. Try to make it live. It's a lot of fun seeing the reactions. I'm not going to pre-announce which artists will be there. I think we have a pretty good number that we're expecting to turn out, so I'm really excited to meet some for the first time after I've been talking to them, on the social medias and on the internet and various forms of communication for a long time. So seeing them in person on camera is quite a thrill, really exciting. But the point of this video, I wanted to show you a project that I've been working on. So on the Collector Arthouse website, this is www.collectorarthouse.com. We have several pages here, right? And this is solely dedicated to sorcery. I would say it's more slanted towards the art enthusiast experience and the collector experience for sorcery. So there's a lot of great information, a lot of interviews with artists here. In Collector's Corner, we have extensive galleries of sample cards, artist proof cards, curio cards, original paintings, all kinds of great stuff. But one of my favorite areas is this sorcery art gallery. So I've now reclassified the primary page to alpha, and this is the alpha artworks. I think I have to circle back here and probably pull out some that did not make it into the final alpha, so some work to do there. But I created these two subpages, and the first is this Arthurian Legends, and these are the artworks that have been released or spoiled and confirmed for Arthurian Legends so far. And it reminds me, I have one more that I need to get up there. I just got the green light from the artist that I can share that. Today was a really exciting day. We saw some new artwork, exciting weekend in general, the new beta artwork that's going to replace the Frazetta artwork. So I'll get those added in due time. But we have several others that were added here. These two from Ian Miller, technically not confirmed for Arthurian Legends yet, but he did confirm that those are for sorcery. So those are on this page, and you can go and check that out. But what I wanted to focus on in this video is another subpage called Sorcery Art Gallery Unconfirmed. So that is artwork that has been discovered across social media. So what I did is I did some research and talking with artists and exploring their social media pages, various mechanisms, right? And I found artwork that had been revealed on their socials that were tagged as either Sorcery Contested Realm, or several years ago in the early days of Sorcery, there was a codename Project Atlas that some of the artists were talking about this game. Or they would say it's for an unconfirmed game, right? And this was back in the 2018, 2019, 2020 timeframe, which correlates to when a lot of the early artwork was done for alpha. And ultimately, many of those came to be in the alpha set. Others, which is quite interesting, were commissioned with the same name, the same card title name. And some were used in alpha and many were not. Right, so my speculative theory here is that some will be used as alternate art, potentially as curios, potentially as promo cards. But my leading theory is that we will see a revised set to come sometime in the future. We'll see Arthurian Legends sometime next year. Revised, I presume the company might be waiting to gauge the demand for beta And if the market is satiated, if that sells quickly and more product is needed, perhaps they will accelerate the release of a revised set, which might include many alternate arts. And I'll explain to you guys as we go through the artwork why I think that is the case. All right, so the first two, this is kind of in order alphabetically by artist, the way I've titled each of these painting imageries. The first are Adam Burke, right? So he leaked two of his, and I think these are most likely for an Arthurian Legends or perhaps a future set. He didn't specify which, but we know they are from Sorcery. So these two from Adam Burke are really cool. This one, and if you click on the image, you could call it up. It's Alan Pollock's Ball Lightning, right? And this was a card we saw in early test form, play test form, that didn't quite make the cut for alpha. Really cool, powerful card that couldn't quite fit the mechanic in. So that is something we might see later. Probably not beta, but perhaps in a revised type of set, or maybe Arthurian Legends. Who knows? You have this one from Alan, Stone Rain. Really cool. Beautiful artwork. I'm not sure we saw that one in playtest at all, but that was a really fascinating find. Really cool. Alan does top-notch, incredible work. One from Andrea Modesti, one of my favorite artists in Sorcery. Love Andrea. I think this one was called Hunting Party, and this was kind of like on the bubble. I don't think that made it for alpha, so that's why this is included here. But a beautiful scenic landscape piece by Andrea. Excuse the zoom. Let me get out of that one and exit out. There is Hunting Party. Now there's two from Elvira. We have Spontaneous Combustion, and this kind of makes you harken back. I guess it doesn't blow up too well. It makes you kind of harken back to the Dream Quest, right? Where there's a lot going on in her studio here. And she's kind of like in this storm of flaming rage here, I guess. Really beautiful, amazing job using paint to simulate light effects, right? On the figure, the character itself, and then on the desk, right? But you see all of the detail around the desk, much like Dream Quest. That is one of the staple and hallmarks of Elvira's style. She always includes a lot of detail. And then the beautiful succubus, right? Avedon Succubus, Elvira Shakarova. Amazing artwork here. Again, very colorful, very detailed. And then we had the Black Knights. So I sold this one. This one was from Brian Smith. This was a original painting called Black Knights. So I'm speculating perhaps we see that in Arthurian Legends. However, I think there's been enough whisper and rumor that there could be many knights, as you would expect in Arthurian Legends. So maybe this is used, maybe it's not. Regardless, it's a very cool artwork. It's a little different for Brian's style, I would say, a little less gruesome than some, but of course he includes his classic worms here, right, which would be largely masked by the text box, and this would look like a pretty PG, I guess you would say, kind of artwork, but really cool with the big long sword here. And then another one from Brian Smith, simply called Book. So who knows? I don't know where that one lands, how it's used, if it'll be used. In some cases, maybe these didn't fit Eric's interest or vision for the game, and maybe they'll just be discarded and not used. We don't know. Moving on here, we have another epic Brian Smith one. I shared this on the Sorcery Contested Realm community Facebook page today. This is Brian Smith's Genocide. Really epic, powerful image here. Genocide, pretty aggressive title. Interesting. And you have these like little monsters being skewered over these flames, right? And this powerful beast in this epic looking posture. So really cool, classic style from Brian Smith, right? All right, so moving on, we have, this one's very interesting. So this is from Kyle Calzan's Shifting Sands, right? So, of course, we have a Shifting Sands from Vasily Ermolayev that was used in Alpha. It was in a pre-con decks. That was one of them that had the copyright symbol instead of the Alpha symbol in the pre-con. So it was like an inconsistency, a little nuance to the pre-cons, and it's in the mainstream Alpha deck. But this is Kyle's version, and it came out very well. It's a very nice artwork. Could totally see this as an alternate art, perhaps in a revised type set, would be my guess, right? The Tower, the Babel, right? So Dan Seagrave, Apex of Babel. In the early playtest era, we saw this card split into two forms, right? So we had the Apex of Babel, which is kind of like the top portion of this illustration, and then we had the base of Babel, and the two worked together as a game mechanic where you had to merge them together. So it was a little difficult for the development team to work that into the final design for Alpha, so it was not used. This is another painting that a community member purchased, and I helped him resell, and this was ultimately resold through Collector Arthouse consignment. So One lucky person owns that painting. I think he revealed it. It's another content creator, so I'll leave it at that, and you could go. I don't know if he wants it out there or not. I guess I'll just leave it at that and not say who purchased it. All right, so this one, very cool. We discovered this one recently from Doug Kovacs, right? And this was difficult to uncover. It was on his Instagram page, and I think what happened is he had one of his Counterspell artworks on Instagram, and then you had to kind of scroll through, and you find this illustration or this painting called Armageddon. And there's an Armageddon that Tony Sudlow did, and there's also one that Doug Kovacs did. Interestingly, neither were used in alpha. So now you have two artwork illustrations with potential for use in a future set. We don't know which will be used or if both will be used or how they will be used. But this is really cool, very colorful, interesting take on Armageddon from Doug Kovacs. And then I'm going to scroll down really quick, and I believe I have Tony Sudlow's Armageddon in here. Yes, here we go. So here's Tony's version, same card title, commissioned by Eric. Why is he commissioning the same titles from different artists? It's got to be a reason, right, guys? It's got to be alt arts. It's got to be Curios. It's got to be future set planning, right? That's what I would think. Unless he truly wasn't satisfied, and he has all the money in the world, and he could just commission paintings and say hell with it. Not going to use it. I don't know, but a lot of these are really cool. This one is really epic by Tony. There's a lot going on in this scene, so it's really awesome. I think, could be fitting for Arthurian Legends, perhaps a future set, who knows. But coming back up, moving on, this was the other Doug Kovacs piece that I was talking about, the Counterspell. I think it was called Exceptional Counterspell. And this was not used for the games because the counterspells were a quick mechanic, which means you trigger it on your opponent's turn, and that proved a little problematic. It had 0 casting cost. It seemed a little broken. So it didn't quite make the cut for alpha, but the company has mentioned that they do hope to include the quick mechanic for a future set release. So this is amazing artwork. It got a lot of buzz on Facebook, on the community group when I posted this. People are really excited about this artwork. Everybody loves a wizard conjuring up something. Not everybody loves counterspells, though. So we'll see how it's used. It's a very cool artwork. All right, another one. Black Knights, right? I think this one was called Black Knights, if I remember correctly. Drew Tucker. So he featured this. He showed it at the IX Art Show last year. Just saw Drew at the IX Art Show a couple weeks ago. There's a really cool painting that has Arthurian Legends written all over it, right? So this one, I'd speculate this might be a new art that we see in the Arthurian Legends set. Really cool, great illustration by Drew. And we have a few here by Drew. Here's Drew's version of his counterspell. It's called Spell Block. Really cool artwork. Blocking the spell, right? So really awesome. Again, maybe we'll see that in a future set once they work that mechanic out. The Empyrean Net. Now, I pulled this card in a sample pack break that I did. I sold the individual slots. I do breaks on the channel sometimes sample packs, sometimes booster boxes, alpha, beta in the future coming up here. And this was an amazing discovery. Weighted net is the way it was commissioned. In the sample card, it was called Empyrean Net. And it's really cool take from Drew. We had these monsters kind of wrapped up in the net here, and then you have these like children running and his family kind of moving towards the net, and the paint just kind of dripping down from that. Really beautiful, amazingly, beautiful aesthetic in this piece. I really love what Drew did here. All right, so those are the 3 Drew Tuckers. We have a couple from Elvira Palakowska. And here, Wrath of the Sea, right? Wrath of the Sea, guys. We have a Matthias Frisk, Wrath of the Sea, that was used for alpha, perhaps an alternate art for revised. Maybe he'll go nuts and he'll have the entire set with new art for revised. I don't know, maybe some subset. It's 400 some paintings. That'd be quite expensive. But here's another example, also from Elvira Palakowska, Free City, Elvira, right? Elvira. And we have the Free City, I think ultimately from Ian Miller in a primary set. But again, here's another one that would work beautifully as an alternate art. A couple really, really nice artworks. And I know there's a sample card version of this Book of Kells. I actually auctioned this and sold it through Collector Arthouse consignment. And this was the beautiful Book of Kells. There's a lot of rich history on this. I did a behind the art feature on this illustration with some insights from Francesca. You can go discover that on the website. But this is one that was not used in alpha. Seems probable for Arthurian Legends, if I had to say. And a counterspell Ordinary Counterspell from Francesca. This is a great one. All right, moving on. The epic masterpiece from Gadu Duaso, The Lord of Lies. This is Gadu's favorite artwork that he did. Per Gadu, that's what he told me. And it's just awesome looking. It's really cool, right? Lord of Lies. Hopefully we see that in Arthurian Legends because I want to see that as soon as possible. We have a beautiful one here from Vincent Pompetti, Gardens. All right. So maybe a different artwork was selected, but this is another beautiful Roman or European type scene. Vincent's doing amazing work for the game. He had the most paintings in the alpha set. So he's a big-time artist, big fan of Eric's, obviously, if you had him do 25 paintings, right? All right, a new artist we're going to see in the future. This is Heidi Talifer. We haven't seen anything from her. She's not an alpha. She was an artist that we discovered will be doing work for Sorcery in the future. And this is kind of like an Adam and Eve type concept, right? So where does that fit? I'm not sure, but it's a beautiful painting. Very well done. She's a great artist, does phenomenal work like this. Great use of color and light. Phenomenal. All right. Jeff Easley, Near Miss. Really cool. Another classic from Jeff Easley. There's actually another one from Jeff Easley that we've seen in a Spellcraft card. I couldn't find the full art painting image, but I hope to find that soon. Hey, Manny, let me finish up here.
My pizza's ready.
Okay, I'll be down soon. All right. Moving on. We have one from Jeff Menges, the Targ War Beast. All right, really cool beast here. A creature. Could emerge in Arthurian Legends. We don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But this is one that was done very early on. You see 2020, Jeff A. Menges. Why wasn't it used for Alpha? I don't know. Maybe it's more fitting for a future set. And then, ironically, I did an interview with Jeff. Eric gave us this reveal to do. Of all the reveals, it ultimately was not used in this set. So it was commissioned as True Allegiance. And again, it looks like a soldier or a knight being knighted, right? Arthurian Legends. Maybe that's why. Ultimately, it was held back. A really cool one by Jeff. Hope to see that one soon. We have one from Lindsay Crumet. And this has Arthurian Legends written all over it, right, guys? Beautiful canvas painting, as always. She always works on canvas. And it looks like a young Arthur, if I had to guess. But I don't know. Yet to be seen. Hopefully see it soon. One from Margaret Organ Keene, another counterspell, also named Exceptional Counterspell. So 2 exceptional counterspells. Maybe one's used, maybe one's an alt art. Really great, intricate artwork here. I think when I saw Margaret at IX last year, not this, I saw her again this year, but last year, I believe she said there was like 2 or 3 others that she had done around that time frame that were not yet used in alpha. So hopefully we will see those soon. This is fascinating now. Moving on, we have a piece from Marta Molina, Edge of the World. The iconic, most popular Adam Burke painting, Edge of the World, was used in alpha. This one was not, but it's really cool. I mean, it's a different take, different vibe. The boat perilously on the edge of the world from Marta Molina. So hopefully that one gets introduced as an alt art in the future. And then these 3 rivers, also done by Marta. So we know that the 3 rivers in alpha were done by Matt Thames, right? But we have a whole new set of those from Marta. So will all the basic lands be replaced with new art, with new artists? Maybe. All right. We have another Matt Thames, River Bridge, that was not used. So maybe one of the alt arts will be from Matt again. Or maybe it was just recommissioned and Eric asked for a different concept for alpha. The fact that there's 3 from Marta tells me that maybe there's high potential there that hers could be used. We had another from Matt Thames. Interesting. Sunken Figurehead. It reminds me kind of Mariner's Curse from Elvira Palikowska, where you have the figure on the end of the boat, or Sunken Treasure. You kind of have a treasure under here. That was Jeff Menges. So again, names could change. This could be recast, reused in a different context. We have a couple here from Aranja Art. So Aranja did the Atlantean Fate, was her 1 spell card, and then she had the 3 deserts in alpha, right? So here we discovered on her website, she had the Krakatoa. I guess you can't see the title against a black background. It's called Krakatoa. We think this is the Vesuvian, potentially. Could be an alt art for Jussi Polkas's Vesuvian. All right. And then you had the Mountain Pass. Of course, the Mountain Pass was used in alpha by Marta Molina. This is a different take from Aranja Art, Rafaela Ketch. And then finally, this one, This one, it was interesting. I'm not sure if this was commissioned for Sorcery or not, but this was done around the same time frame, around 2019, 2020. It's titled Oasis, right? And we know Marta Molina did an Oasis for Alpha. Could this be a beautiful, picturesque alt art for Revised? Quite possibly, and hope so, because this is probably, like, I think my favorite that I've seen done by Aranja, relative to the Deserts, and Atlantean Fate's pretty great too. But this Oasis is really cool. I think that would work great in the game. Moving on now, Santiago Caruso. Now, Santiago only had 2 artworks that made it for Alpha. He had the Phantasmal Fate and they changed the name of it. It's the guys like kind of on the spin dial. They changed the title. I know I sold one as a sample card, which is a big deal. And then there was another one. But so only 2 made it into Alpha. He's a great artist from Argentina. Really interesting style, right? He does all his work in black and white. And then we believe Eric added this hint of color digitally to kind of spice it up a little bit for the card. Of course, these 4 in this series were not used, but these were Sorcery commissioned artworks from Santiago Caruso that we could see emerge in a future set. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and now moving on to one of the biggest artists in Sorcery, if I might say so myself, Severin Pinu, right? So we had the Ring of Morrigan, Arthurian Legends potential, beautiful. We have Time Stop, could be Arthurian Legends. I hope so. Gorgeous artwork by Severin. You got the classic gears, kind of reminds you of Predestination or Kythera Mechanism, and then the beautiful human figures that she does. And then we covered Armageddon. There was one more from Tony Sudlow, Holy Grail. The Holy Grail. If that is not Arthurian Legends, I don't know what is, right? So I did a behind the art feature. Go read about that. Go read about what this hidden message is that gets covered by the text box. But an incredible, amazing artwork by Tony. All his stuff is great. Really love it. We had this one. I believe this was called, Toss. I want to say I saw this in playtest early on as Leap Attack, but not used in Alpha. So that's from Truett Parish. And then, last but not least, Vasily Ermolayev, right? So we have this one from Vasily. This was not named on his social media, but my theory here is that this was a different version of Donnybrook Inn, and then perhaps Eric asked that to be changed to landscape mode and kind of more focused on the inn, so to speak, itself, to make it more pronounced, have more of a focal presence in the composition for the card, where this one's a little busy with a lot going on, showing the whole town. So it could be, or it could be an alt art for the future. The way Donnybrook came out is incredible. And then there's this other one that was called Woods by Vasily Ermolayev, tagged as a Sorcery artwork. You kind of see a lot going on here too. Kind of resembles some of his other works. You see these animals though, the owl here and different things. Kind of makes me think that maybe this was recast as Assorted Animals for Alpha, and perhaps this one will not be used. It's hard to say. But that's kind of the list I have going so far. I know there's a few missing. There's a Rolling Boulder from Doug Kovacs. Elvira Palikowska has a Sleeping Giant. You know, there was a giant used from Liz Danforth. There was a different version from Elvira. So, and I just couldn't find the full arts for those, or couldn't get them from the artist just yet. But all this is to say, we have a lot of artworks, same title, different artists, commissioned from the same artist. Why? I don't know. Why would you do that? You have to be either preparing for promos or alternate arts. That is my theory. And a lot of spoilers here. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe these artworks won't be used at all. Maybe they will. But you can go to the page here, collectorarthouse.com, Sorcery Art Gallery, and then in the drop-down menu, Sorcery Art Gallery Unconfirmed. Unconfirmed artwork, right? We know they were commissioned for Sorcery. We don't know if, when, and how they might be used. But it's very cool. Guys, please join me for the Beta Showcase Celebration event, Saturday, November 11th, 12 p.m. Eastern. We just had a daylight saving change. I think in Europe it's going to translate to like 6 p.m. Eastern. Do the math. Go Google it. Make sure you get the time right. It's going to be really awesome. We're going to have a lot of incredible guests. It's going to be very exciting, just like the Alpha release. I'm super pumped about it. We're going to see some new people. We're going to see some returning artists. And it's going to be just like an epic, big-time, memorable, significant moment in the history of Sorcery for its second ever release. I hope you can join, and I look forward to seeing you there. Take care, everybody. See ya.